Welcome to the Exceptional Children's Referral Process. This presentation is specifically designed for parents and guardians of our students here in Durham Public Schools. Suspecting a disability. There may be several factors that may cause you to suspect a disability or need for special education or exceptional children's services for your child. You may believe or be certain that your child is not keeping up with his or her peers, academically or developmentally, based on grades, progress reports, teacher reports or observations, formal and informal assessments, student work samples, and any other information. Your child's teacher or MTSS team may have shared that your child is not making expected progress, even with appropriate interventions and supports. Or perhaps your child has already received a diagnosis or has an existing disability based on previous evaluations or reports that you have provided from private providers, agencies, or doctors. What does it mean to make a referral to exceptional children? As a parent, you may have a concern about your child's development in any one or more of the following domains: physical, cognitive, communication, social or emotional, or adaptive behavior. You may also have concerns about your child's educational or academic performance. It's important to know that either a parent of a child or an LEA, which means local educational agency, which is the school district, may initiate a request for an initial evaluation to determine if the child is a child with a disability. Other avenues to consider for assistance. Academic, social, emotional, behavioral, or functional skills challenges do not necessarily suggest a suspected disability, so not every concern needs to result in a referral for special education. Sometimes student challenges or needs can be appropriately addressed through other school or district level supports. Talk to school professionals to share concerns and ask about interventions and supports. Some supports that may be accessed by the school team to support your child's academic or social emotional needs may include multi-tiered system of supports, or MTSS, interventions. The school counselor, school social worker, school psychologist may also be involved. A referral to co-located mental health may be made for additional assistance. And also, schools may have an interventionist or specialist who can assist with supporting student needs. Questions you can ask to better understand your child's strengths and needs. There are some key questions you can ask your child's teacher. This information that you receive may also help you determine what requests to make or direction to pursue regarding advocacy for your child. 1. How is my child performing in relation to his or her grade level peers at the school in terms of reading, writing, and math skills? 2. What data can you share with me that can help me understand how my child is doing? What assessment summaries, tests, completed assignments, work samples, graphs, or charts that show progress can be shared? 3. What interventions or supports are currently being provided to my child to address his or her areas of need and areas of strength? 4. Is my child working with any specialists or interventionists to address his or her needs? If not, can or should he or she be working with a specialist or interventionist? And finally, what do you believe are factors impacting my child's educational performance? Remember, it's important to receive the information in a way and presentation that makes sense to you as a parent. If the teacher is using jargon or acronyms, and you do not understand what they mean, ask for clarification. Also, ask for samples and graphed or charted data whenever possible, as these are often helpful artifacts that help paint the picture of where your child is actually performing in specific areas. So what are the steps in the process for an evaluation? Here we've listed the 5 key steps. First, and we'll dig deeply into each one individually. First is putting your request in writing and providing it to the appropriate school personnel. Second is that you will receive an invitation to an IEP referral meeting. At that meeting, the team will determine whether to evaluate based on the data they have. If an evaluation is pursued, parental consent is required. The team will determine what the suspected area or areas of disability are, and there are 14. Typically, there is a primary and possibly a secondary that the team is looking at, sometimes even 3 or more. Screenings and evaluations are identified based on those suspected areas of disability. Finally, parents are asked to provide written consent, and once they do, those screenings and evaluations occur. So, dig deeper into the first step. Put your request in writing and provide it to school personnel, including the reason for the referral, addressing the specific presenting concerns, and the child's current strengths and needs if you can. Please provide the written documentation to one of the following individuals at your child's school: the school administrator, that could be the principal or assistant principal, your child's teacher, or the exceptional children's facilitator. Once you put your request in writing, this is notification to the team that an IEP referral meeting must be held in a timely manner. Our 90-day timeline begins when school personnel receive your written request. All evaluations must be conducted. If we decide to evaluate, eligibility determined, and for a child who is eligible, the IEP must be developed and placement completed within those 90 days of receipt of the written referral. Next, you will receive an invitation to the IEP referral meeting. The invitation will be on a specific form required by the state. The form includes information about the purpose or purposes of the meeting, the date, time, and location of the meeting, who will be present for the meeting, and who you can contact if you have any questions or need to discuss changing the date or time. You should receive the invitation to the meeting at least 7 to 10 days prior to the actual meeting. After the IEP meeting, to determine whether to evaluate will be held on that specific date. Specific items will be discussed. For the referral, the team, which includes you, the parent, will discuss the student's strengths in multiple areas. They will review existing data from any local or state assessments, past and current grades, documentation of any research-based interventions to address the targeted academic, behavioral, or functional areas of need, any formal evaluations presented by the parent or guardian, information provided by the parent or guardian in relation to students' current academic, behavioral, or functional performance at home, any observational data, as well as information about absences, tardies, suspensions, or any medical information that may be available about your child. The IEP team will use all of this very important information that is specific to your child to make a determination of whether or not to conduct an evaluation. IEP referral meeting determination options. There are 3 options for the IEP team to consider after reviewing and discussing the referral information. First is that no evaluation will be conducted based on the review of existing information. At that point, the referral to special education ends. Another option is that eligibility for special education and related services is being determined by using existing evaluation data that has been made available to the IEP team through the special education referral, and that no additional evaluations are needed to determine eligibility. Finally, the team may decide to conduct an initial evaluation, and eligibility cannot be determined by the review of existing data. If the team decides to evaluate, parental consent is required. No screenings or evaluations related to suspected areas of disability can be conducted without parental written consent. Also, providing consent for evaluations does not mean you're providing consent for special education and related services. If your child is found eligible and in need of special education, the team will develop an individualized education program, or IEP, that will detail the proposal of services. You can provide consent or decline services at this time. Parents may also revoke consent in writing for testing at any time. So, If the evaluations are needed, the team will request written parental consent to complete any screenings or evaluations needed based on the suspected area or areas of disability. Once consent is provided, the screenings and evaluations occur. If the parent provides written consent, the team will create the plan to complete the necessary screenings and evaluations. All components are administered individually to your child. Questions you can ask about the screening or evaluation process and timeline. 1. Who will be evaluating my child? Which team members? You can also ask, will I be informed when you begin evaluating my child and when you are done? And how will I be informed? You can also ask to receive a copy of all written reports prior to the IEP meeting, as well as requesting to meet with the evaluator or evaluators to review the contents of the reports prior to the next IEP meeting. Eligibility determination, 3 prongs. Once the screenings and evaluations are all completed, the team will send another IEP meeting invitation to you to discuss and review the results and determine eligibility. There are 3 key questions and the team must answer to find a child eligible and in need of special education and related services. The first question is the student eligible for one or more of the 14 areas of eligibility? Secondly, the team must determine what is the adverse effect? How is the disability interfering with the child's learning? And finally, the third prong question is there a need for specially designed instruction? The Individualized Education Program, or IEP. For students found eligible and in need of special education and related services, an Individualized Education Program, or IEP, will be developed either at the evaluation results and eligibility meeting or at a subsequent IEP meeting. The IEP is a legal document that details and outlines the unique needs of each child. The IEP identifies student strengths and needs, discusses consideration of special factors, addresses any transition plan needs, which starts when the student turns age 14. The IEP also creates annual goals and short-term objectives, discussion and determination of supplementary aids and services, addresses district and state testing and which accommodations may be needed, identifies the service delivery and how specially designed instruction will be provided. It also identifies outcomes for students to make appropriate progress on the IEP goals and objectives and the general curriculum. That is a very important desired outcome of a child's IEP, to address general curriculum progress, as well as progress on those IEP goals and objectives. Dispute resolution. It is our goal and intention that parents and guardians are authentically included as critical team members in all IEP processes. This means that parents are provided information in a timely and meaningful manner, that your input is heard and considered in all decision-making, and that parents have the knowledge, understandings, and resources or supports necessary to participate actively in all aspects of their child's education. Our hope is to always reach consensus on all decisions. This means that all team members come to agreement on decisions made. Unfortunately, consensus is not always possible, and there may be disagreements with team directions or decisions. If this occurs and you as a parent or guardian would like to share any concerns or seek additional support or guidance, there are several avenues you can take. First, we always encourage problem solving at the school level as a starting point. So if you have not already included your child's principal or assistant principal, please consider doing so. As a next level, you can always contact our Exceptional Children's Office at 919-560-3774 and ask for one of our EC directors or for the EC Executive Director. We will always do all we can to help problem solve however possible. Parents and guardians may also opt to contact our DPS Office of School Relations to share any concerns. The office support staff can be reached at 919-560-3755 or 919-560-3713. Finally, the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction's Exceptional Children's Division provides support through their dispute resolution consultants. They can be reached at 984-236-2573.